Good morning, everybody. I know you guys can't see the screen. Just give me 1 second. Finishing something up really quick. Yeah, I see a couple of you guys asking about the new Apex stuff. We will go over that. Just let me get the trade plan ready and then give it a few minutes after the open. Once things calm down, we'll talk about all the Apex changes. Give me 1 second. I know you guys can't see the screen. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at our trade plan from yesterday. Do we need to update these levels? Or are they okay for today? Let's see. Alright, so yesterday we said holding above or below 860, which is the value low of Friday. If you stay below that, we're looking for 811, which has already been hit, so we will have to lower that. And then 751, which is a pretty old level, but honestly, we're going to have to start pulling really old levels because of this range breakdown here. So I think this is still pretty good. Unfortunately, 860 is very far away, but to be honest, there is no level that I can really lower that down to. So that kind of has to be our trade plan level for today. Let's see here. So I think the first target will be the overnight low, 67.68. And then we'll keep that second target at 51 with that overnight low. I'm going to keep 860 the same. Like I said, there's not really a level I can bring that down to. I don't really like using the current day's value because it's moving around so much. The day shape is a D shape, but we are in a pretty strong trend now that we are breaking out of that range that we've been in for so long. So I would treat it like a trend day for the most part, but it is in a D shape for now. So we'll see how the open reacts. So for now at the open, watch this rotation, this 803 level. If you stay above that, you're still in rotation, but you're still bearish as long as you're below 860. Like I said, I know that level is far away, but unfortunately, that is just the level we're going to have to use today. We do have to update these lower targets on NASDAQ, so that's going to be the overnight low at 477, and then 190. Same thing. It's in a D shape technically, but because we are breaking out of that daily range that we've been trading in for a long time, I would kind of treat it like a bearish trend. So basically, in the bearish trend sense, any bounce back is bullish short term. Like, you can still trade that bullishly as like a scalp kind of in the short term, but it can still very aggressively be sold until you start actually reclaiming some value, right? So that's what I mean by you're kind of treating it like a trend day where any bounce can still be aggressively sold. The market can still slap it down pretty quickly. But yeah, let's let the market settle down a little bit here, and we'll talk about the Iran news, the Apex stuff, all that. Good morning, we're going to Patriot. AT, Chris, Tachi, here's that trade plan for you guys. Keep an eye on this buy pressure coming in. We are trying to reclaim VWAP, rotating that current day's profile. Very strong buy pressure out of the open so far. Trying to reclaim a little bit of this overnight sell-off. There is a gap fill from that Sunday open. Going back to 75. Keep an eye on that. Building a pretty strong node here at 31. Right now, we're just keeping an eye on the current rotation, which it basically is finishing right now. You're hitting that value high. So if it wants to maintain balance, if it wants to maintain this bearish trend, it should be finding a lot of sell pressure in the next like 15 to 20 points. Now, yes, that's a wide range, but our volatility is extremely high right now. You need to understand that all of these numbers, all of these levels, they're going to have these wide ranges of points because of what's going on in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz and Israel, all that stuff. Volatility is much, much higher right now, as I talked about in my trade plan statement. Which, by the way, how is oil doing? Let's see. Oil is up 6%. Silver is down 6%, which is interesting. Not sure why. That's not typical for the headlines that we're seeing right now. Maybe a lot of the silver's commodities traders are just going back to oil. But yeah, just a recap, if you guys didn't see, I'm sure you guys did see, the Israel-Iran, I guess you could call it a war. The war is popping off again. So same thing that we saw, when was the last time? It was like 6 months ago or something like that. However many months ago. Basically the same thing happening. The big difference this time is the US is heavily involved. Instead of last time, it was mostly just Israel and Iran. Obviously, the US is heavily involved in Israel providing weapons and stuff, so we were kind of involved in the last one as well. But this one is much more straightforward. The US is like quite literally involved. So that is creating obviously a much higher volatility environment in the market, and liquidity is very, very low because the market makers are scared to provide liquidity right now. The direct correlation with the market from that war also ties into oil. Oil is up 6%, mostly because there is a section of water near Iran called the Strait of Hormuz. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly, but you guys get the picture. There is a shipping lane that is basically being shut down because of the war. And it's one of the largest oil shipping lanes in the world. Which is why oil is going up 6%, because supply and demand. If demand remains the same and supply goes down, prices go up. Okay, so this is the area that the sellers need to start coming in, which they kind of are. Because this is where the value low of Friday and kind of the overnight high and the upper tail, all three of these things are bearish. They're bearish points that they need to protect. So in this general area, the bears need to protect, going up to like 60, which is why, like I said, I did not want to lower my trade plan level because of exactly what we are seeing right now. Any bounce up here can technically still be very bearish. It could just be a gap fill, it could just be a rotation, but those sellers could still be in control. I'm trying to build this upper POC here. Still staying below that 50 to 60 area. This push-up could be mostly from that gap fill. They're trying to fill in that gap from the Sunday open. Okay, still holding on to this upper node and the ADMA, so still very aggressive here. Still looking for that 60, possibly a little bit higher. I believe the gap fill is, let's see here. Gap fill is 75. So if it does not stop at 60, you're possibly retracing that value and you're possibly filling in that gap to 75. So keep an eye on that. That same gap on NASDAQ. Let's take a look here. Why is TradingView deleting all my levels? All right, hopefully my levels come back, but that that gap fill is 953. All right, let me catch up here. Let's see. Tachi, Luis, JC, Scott, good morning, guys. Ram, Jose, Nitro, Ordinary, Mag, Leo, good morning, Suzanne, Roman, Roger, Banana, Larry, Greg, Lubmir, Brian, good morning, Future, good morning, Brent, good morning, Igor, Vivian, Mr. Crab, Tamer. Good morning, Faraj. Good morning, Kosa. Ganesh, eBay, Scooby-Doo, Angelo. Good morning, Nike, Liquidated, Joan, Roma. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Ollie. Fernando, Orion. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Trevor, Ray. Thumper. Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Ryder, Darius. Gary. WX. Carini, Music. Appreciate you guys all being here. Happy Monday. We'll go over those Apex changes here in a second. Yeah, TradingView is hiding my levels. Hopefully they come back. Sometimes they very rarely get deleted. It's a pain in the ass, especially for someone like me who I leave levels for a year at a time, right? Usually when it does that, you don't want to mess with it too much because it... Yeah, see, so it brought my levels back. If it's hiding your levels, don't mess with it, because sometimes it will save the new chart that has like no levels on it. That's why I didn't want to draw that gap level. It's a really annoying bug. It happens very rarely. 950, keep an eye on that. Here's that value level at 895. Bob, if you're asking for the heat map on Addis, I don't use it, so I can't help you too much in that regard. I believe Addis has some videos on their YouTube that talk about it, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't use heat map because I don't use level 2 data. All right, keep it on the 60 level here. We'll see how it reacts to that value. Data, let me see. What's coming out today? We had 10 o'clock data, I believe. So we have PMI data coming out. There was PMI at 945, 51.6, which is a little bit high. Well, yeah, same thing in everything with trading, Bob. Everything has values, is whether or not you can use it in your system, which I don't use it in my system, so I can't help you or others in chat that ask like about heat map and kind of how to use it. I don't really have systems for that anymore. I find heat maps and like level 2 information valuable, but it's too distracting for the value that it provides. So I think that it's more of a negative for my style than a positive, which is why I don't use it. But I don't teach my style of trading. By the way, we're failing 60 damn near to the tick. I don't teach my style of trading of like you have to trade like this or it's not going to work. Like I said, everything has value. It's just whether or not you can build a system around it. There's a million things in trading you could use. You can't use them all at the same time. You got to build your own little basket and just go with that. Yeah, Addis has a ton of stuff that I'm not showing. I'm showing damn near the most basic side of the platform. There is way more advanced stuff on Addis that I'm not using. There's tons of indicators you guys can go through. There's tons of different systems, different indicators. Okay, so this is exactly what I was saying during our trade plan. This is the reason I did not lower the trade plan level. So we popped up into this value. We failed it damn near to the exact tick on NASDAQ and damn near to the tick on ES as well. It's deleting my levels, but the level is right there. I don't know why TradingView keeps doing that. Yeah, their YouTube is very good. I did a video for them last year. They have a lot of content for their platform. Yeah, the levels will come back. Just don't mess with the chart too much. If you mess with the chart too much, it might save the new chart. All right, I was going to wait for the market to slow down to go over the Apex stuff, but it's honestly probably not going to slow down today. So let me just quickly go over this. I know a couple of you guys were asking about it. Let me pull this over here really fast. And then let me pull this over here. And we'll talk about it really quickly. I'll try to do it as fast as I can. So if you guys saw the update on Apex, it was basically, I guess you would call it like modernizing. They're modernizing the platform a bit. So they're following a lot of your guys' feedback. Not sure why I just scrolled up there. They're following a lot of your guys' feedback, and they're changing the system to make it a lot more understandable. So a lot of the rules are cut down. A lot of the payout structure is much easier. A lot of you guys said that you don't like the trailing drawdown, so now they have end of day drawdown as well. So you can kind of choose, do you want the old style of the drawdown or the new style? For all of you guys that had the old Apex accounts, it's basically nothing is changing. If you guys still have those accounts, the existing evals and paid accounts remain the same. You can still renew them, you can still reset them, you can still pass those accounts into legacy paid accounts. You can still hold both the old accounts and the new accounts. It's basically exactly the same. So if you're maintaining your old accounts, just treat it like the old Apex. But now you can't buy those accounts anymore because the new accounts are just simply better. So the payout system is much, much easier to understand. You're going to have like a whole dashboard that shows you if you're breaking any rules or anything. And basically, once you can go in and put a payout through, there's pretty much no denial. As long as it shows on your dashboard that you can put a payout request through, you're basically good to go. The payout is going to be approved. So as long as you're not breaking any rules. They also cut down on their account sizes, so there's not like 7 or 8 different sizes. You just have the most used ones, the 25, 50, 100, and 150. You still can choose between Rhythmic and Tradeovate, and they also have their new wealth charts, which I personally have not tried yet. I use Rhythmic for Addis, and then I use, obviously, Tradeovate for Tradeovate. So they cut away the payout reviews, payout denials, no MAE rule, no 5-to-1 risk rule. Scaling is built into the new system. Consistency rule has gone from 30% to 50%. That's another thing you guys used to give me feedback on in the stream. You guys didn't like that consistency rule was so low. They damn near doubled it. So now the consistency rule is 50%. That's a good thing, not a bad thing, right? It's going up means that you can have larger trades and it's not going to stop you from getting a payout if one big trade happens, right? So 30% was a little too tight. If you had one big trade, it would sometimes make it so you couldn't have a payout. Payout eligibility reduced from 8 trading days to 5 trading days, damn near cut in half. Once again, that is a good thing, not a bad thing. The things that you cannot do, you still can't high frequency trade, so you can't have like those algorithmic systems that are high frequency trading. Pretty much nobody does that anyway. You still can't hedge. Nobody does that anyway. And then you can't play around with the rules, basically. No rule manipulation. That's basically if you're like running a Discord group and you're all like trading together and trying to break the rules. You guys aren't doing that, right? A big thing with the new accounts. There is no monthly recurring system in the new accounts. You buy a new account, you have it for 30 days. If you pass it in that 30 days, you're good to go. If you don't pass it, you just buy a new account. This is a good and a bad thing. It's mostly a good thing because, as they said, pretty much nobody was letting the accounts recur anyway. They were just trying to pass it. If it didn't pass, they would buy a new one. The reason people were doing that is because if your account on the old system was below 50K, or like let's say it's a 50K account, if it was below 50K and the renewal went through, it did not put you back to 50K. So you were better off just buying a new account anyway to reset it to 50K. So now that's how their system works. You just buy a new account instead of letting it renew. You guys have also asked a lot about buying multiple accounts at once. I don't know if they have it currently in the system, but they are adding that if it's not already in the system. You could buy 5 accounts, 10 accounts, I believe 20 accounts, I'm not sure. We already talked about they have intraday trail and end of day trail. That was probably the #1 complaint you guys had. The #1 thing you guys would tell me you didn't like about Apex was the trailing drawdown. So now they offer both. I still don't mind the intraday drawdown. As you guys know, I've been talking about that on stream for years. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it actually trains you as a trader in a good way. It is a little tight, I will say. But now they have end of day drawdown. I think the only difference is it's slightly more expensive. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive. But with the coupon code, it's still not expensive really at all. That is pretty much it. Let me see, did I miss anything? Pretty much just, it's just way better, guys. You have a dashboard that tells you all your stuff. You're not going to have a bunch of payout denials anymore. Oh, here's a big thing that I missed. So once you make it to a paid account, you can only get 6 payouts, and then they're going to try to push you to a live account. They're going to try to do the thing they've already been doing on the legacy accounts, where they talk to you about moving into like an actual live account. So now that's built into the system where your account can get 6 payouts, and then they move you into a live account. Also, there's a 100% payout split, so you just keep 100% of the payout on those 6 payouts, I believe, if I understand that correctly. I believe that is it. If I missed anything, I'll remind you guys later, but let's get back to our charts here. By the way, it is currently, I think it's actually 85% off. I messed up on the graphic here. Basically the same, 85%, 90%. If you guys use code BREW, you get that discount. They're very discounted right now. End of day drawdown, no payout denials, no MAE rule, no 5-to-1 risk, built-in scaling, and the consistency rule is now 50% instead of 30%. All right, I got that out of the way. I know a lot of you guys were going to ask a lot of questions about that today. So there you go. What time is it? Around 10:03. Okay, if anybody asks about that, if they come in late, just remind me to tell them to go back to 10 o'clock on the stream, and they'll see what I said. And by the way, guys, I'm not obligated to say any of that. I do not have a contract with Apex that tells me I have to go over all that stuff. I'm just doing it because you guys are going to ask me 100 questions. Okay. Was that pretty clear? Do you guys understand the changes? Like I said, TLDR, it's just getting better. Pretty much all the stuff you guys complained about over the years, they fixed. It is a massive improvement. Massive, massive improvement. The 3 biggest complaints you guys would have in stream, and like the only things you guys would complain about, was the trailing drawdown. Now they have end of day options. The consistency rule, they doubled it basically. And sometimes you would have the payout being denied because you were breaking rules. Now the payouts don't get denied because it shows you on your dashboard whether or not you can request a payout. Massive, massive improvement. And I believe, I don't remember the old prices, but I'm pretty sure they're either the same price or cheaper. So all that improvement and basically no increase in cost. Yeah, as always, code BREW for the discount. I will have to change the raffle, I think, a little bit because of the new... Oh, no, it's okay, actually. I was going to say I might have to change the raffle because of how I did it with the... You get 1 ticket per 50K. But now it's actually easier because they have 50K, 100K, 150K. So it's just 1 ticket, 2 tickets, or 3 tickets. So I think our raffle is still good. There might not be a giveaway today, guys, because I don't know if those old codes that they gave me to give away, I don't know if those codes work. I'm waiting to hear back on that. They're going to give me some new codes pretty soon. So there might not be a giveaway today unless they respond before the end of stream. Okay, sorry. Back to the charts here. We had the 10 o'clock data come out, 70.5 over 60.6, much higher than expected. And here is that gap fill we talked about. So gap being filled on ES and gap almost being filled on NASDAQ. I really hope my levels come back here. It's a pain in the ass. Trading View doing Trading View things. But yeah, now I'm curious to see your guys' feedback over the next few months because, like I said, literally almost everything you guys were giving feedback on, they completely fixed. Hey, Julio, I appreciate that. Yeah, to all you guys in here, if you guys are using the code, I really appreciate that. It does support me a lot. It supports the channel. It also allows me to do all these giveaways and raffles and everything else. I really appreciate it. And for all the new people in here, if you have started using the code recently, if you have not gotten access to the indicators, the Momo, the OTS, which I think I was supposed to do Momo Monday today, but I forgot about that. The Momo, the OTS, the bots, you do get access for 60 days if you use code BREW to send me an email. Just show me your most recent receipt, tell me your trading view name, and I'll get you added. And I'm not a stickler with that stuff, guys. Like, if you need an extension, just send me another receipt. Let me know, hey, man, I didn't pass in the first 2 months. Can I get an extension? Just send me your most recent receipt. I'll give you an extension. It's not a big deal. It's not a hard cutoff. Yeah, we do that, Lee. We do Discord access every single month. Which, speaking of that, guys, I did not have time to do to send out the prizes yesterday. So you guys should see that today. If you won the raffle, you will see me contacting you through email today for the February raffle. Don't send me your receipts for March until the end of the month. Unless you need indicator access, then you can go ahead and send it for that. But for the raffle, just hold all your receipts until the last week of March. And I might do something special for this raffle as well because of the Apex changes. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. How was price action last week? It was okay. Mostly just staying inside that daily range with kind of a slight bearish bias. That I don't know, trader. I don't know if those codes work with the new accounts. I'm waiting to hear back on that. You can test it. If you haven't used the code, if you guys won one of my giveaways and you haven't used your code yet, you can test it and let me know. Yeah, exactly, Titus. The monthly close is typically always a rough day to trade. A lot of weird stuff happening on monthly closes. Yeah, have a good one, man. We'll see you tomorrow. So here is that gap fill at 75. So the gap has been fully filled in now. I believe NASDAQ filled in the gap a little bit as well. Let's see. No, not yet. It's almost filled in. You're hitting the wick, I believe. Needs to go to like 950. Are my levels back? Okay, there's my levels. There is the gap fill. And you're seeing exactly why I did not lower that trade plan level, because of a violent move like this. Yeah, Omar, so that's not their control. That is run by, I think it's the SEC. It's one of the three-letter agencies. That's like a US regulation thing. That's not like Apex doing that. That's out of their control, unfortunately. Do I use VIX in my trading? Not anymore. If you were in the stream from like 2018 to like 2021, we were using VIX pretty much daily. I think COVID broke VIX. I think after COVID, VIX was not as accurate. It might have gone back to how it used to be, but I just stopped using it after COVID. So now I just don't use it anymore. And it's one of those things where I removed it from my analysis and it did not have a negative impact on my trading. So there's no reason for me to re-add it to my analysis. It's like my level 2. I removed level 2. It did not negatively impact me as a trader. There's no point in me putting level 2 back. But yeah, around COVID, if you guys were in the Discord, we were using it pretty much every day. And I had this really big trade that I was taking on SPY. And I damn near called the top of SPY, like almost to the tick. And it started going down like massively. And VIX just wasn't reacting because VIX is not exactly bearish, right? It's more of a volatility thing. It's not 100% a bearish indicator. So VIX did not properly price in my contracts when I damn near shorted the top of SPY. And that left just a sour taste in my mouth, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm not using VIX anymore. Because I missed out on that profit from that really good trade. And then ever since then, I was like, yeah, I'm not using it. That was back when we were swing trading a lot more. Yeah, Julio, no problem, man. I think I saw your email. So when I say there's like a Saturday night deadline, I know that I'm Eastern time, so I try to factor in for you guys on the West Coast. So usually if I say Saturday night, as long as you send it by like Sunday morning, like AM, you're good to go. Like I said, I'm very lenient with stuff like that. It's not like an absolute hard cutoff. I just can't let people send in the receipts on like Monday when I say Saturday, and I've already run the raffle. But yeah, I factor in if you guys are in the West Coast. Very top heavy candle. You do not want to lose that 68 node. If you lose that 68 node, the bottom of this candle is very easy to lose. Also very early in the candle, but keep an eye on those single prints, possible prints going down to 60. But yeah, guys, if you guys have any, if you guys are trying out the new Apex accounts and you have any questions, obviously, first and foremost, check out their website and their forums. They're always the best place. But if you can't find something, just let me know on stream. If I don't know the answer, I'll ask my contact. I know it's a really big change, so you guys will probably have some questions. But yeah, always check their website and check their forums first. They're going to have a lot more information than I do. I don't work for Apex. I don't know all the ins and outs of every little detail. I am basically just a customer like you guys. I'm just an affiliate, right? Yeah, if there's any hard questions you guys can't get the answer to, just let me know. And I'll ask the contact. Bitcoin having a good day, by the way, up 4%. Gold is down, which is surprising. Silver's down. Crude is also down a little bit after that. It's still up quite a bit, but it's down a little bit after that spike. Pulling back a little bit. And the money market rates have just plummeted. I need to move my money out of these money market accounts. They are just terrible now. They were, those rates were like, what, 4.5% last couple of years? Now they're down to like 2.25%, 2%. Better off trading treasuries and T-bills. Good morning, Maverick. What are the T-bill rates right now? Let's see. They're also tax advantaged. Yeah, T-bills are way better right now. 3.5 to 3.7. Keep an eye on this 24 EMA. So right now, this looks like the only reason we were going up was to fill in that gap, because you treat gaps the same way you treat single prints. If you hit that level and all that buy pressure or all that sell pressure that was coming in before that level has just vanished, then all you were doing was filling in that level. And that's kind of what it looks like here. The second we hit that gap fill, look at it. There's not a single 5-minute body above 75. It's just completely wicking it and coming back down. So keep an eye on VWAP if it loses the 24 here. Be right back. All right, keep an eye on VWAP here. By the way, I did hear back. Those codes should still work. We should be okay to have a giveaway today. Good morning, Bella. Good morning, Maverick. Did I miss anybody today? What a clean gap fill. Yeah, the gap fill was, yeah, I mean, damn near perfect. You can't really get better than that. No, Chris, I'm not sure what that issue is, unfortunately. If it continues, keep an eye on that session VWAP going down to 32. And then worst case scenario for the buyers goes back down to 04. That's a rotation back to 04. If you weren't here during the trade plan, this is what I was talking about with the 60 level, where there's not really a great place down here to pull your levels down because you're kind of just continuing that value shift downward. So we want to use that previous value as like the pullback point. So if we pull back, yes, this is bullish short term, but as we approach that prior value, this is still very bearish. So that's why we kept that 860 level, even though we were way down around like 100 points lower almost. So yes, you can trade this bullishly, but just understand on the grand scheme of things, as long as you stay below that value, you're still technically decreasing value. That's one of the ways I look at our trade plan when we're making it. Good morning, Mark. Trying to hold on to VWAP here. A lot more bearish delta on NASDAQ than we see on ES. 30-minute lows being protected. You tried to push down here, but you are protecting that low, even though the low is very weak. Like, look at the value here. There's absolutely no value. So it's not really this candle. It's kind of this node right here. The node from the 930 candle, which is basically the POC now. You are protecting that upper node. Even though this candle is very wide, it's kind of a micro pullback candle in the sense that you have a strong impulse candle and then you have a doji right after it. So when candles like this happen, you kind of create a range inside that candle, which creates kind of a node. And then to get more impulsive, you really have to hold outside of that candle. What's this level we're flipping here? This is the overnight high. So overnight high being flipped. Had a little bit of a struggle there, and then you broke it, and then flipped it. Also, we talked about the daily a lot last week. Going back to the daily here. Not a perfect level, but damn near perfect if you take into account this is a daily chart. And that's about as good as you're going to get. This pivot is still holding. So you had a test there, a little bit of a front run. Another test turned into a sweep. Another test damn near to the tick. And then another sweep. So very strong level around that 6,800. If you start losing that pivot, putting in like lower lows, lower highs, very likely going back down to 6,500. But right now, still holding it as support. Same thing we talked about last week on NASDAQ. The level on NASDAQ has kind of already been lost. It was kind of like this low here, and then you broke it, and now you're kind of chopping around it, but you're failing that trail. You're kind of putting in equal highs here. You're creating a new lower range. So if you think about the old range, it was kind of like this, right? And now we have this new range here, which is not perfectly a lower low, lower high. It's kind of like overlapping inside that prior zone. But same thing here. If you think about like this area as kind of the flip zone, if we can't hold above that, which is around basically 25,000, you're looking pretty weak. Back down to those November lows. So this week is very important. How does it react? Does it pop up into that range and then start putting in lower lows? Or do we stay back in that range and kind of reclaim that prior value? It's also rollover month, so we do have rollover coming up in a couple of weeks. So a couple of levels it is bouncing off of right now. It's bouncing off of VWAP, the POC node, and also the overnight high. So you are failing to rotate because you're bouncing off all those levels instead of just going right back down to the value low. Yeah, Mark, appreciate that. Like I said, you're treating this candle kind of like a node where you are rotating back and forth between 43 and 78. Very wide range yet again. As I said, volatility is very, very high right now, so that every range we talk about is going to be very wide. But as we are inside of this range, you're just kind of rotating. If we hold above 78, you think about it as like a break of balance, possibly going back to a higher value, finishing the retrace of Friday. Putting in a lower high here on the 5-minute, you're still inside that same 30-minute range. So keep an eye on this 43 level here. Starts to get pretty bearish if they hold below that 43. Goes right back down to this session VWAP, which is at 34 right now. Unfortunately, you're just kind of rotating this POC node. A lot of back and forth. Yeah, you're not wrong. Liquidity could be worse. It's really not terrible. Definitely not the greatest. It's not like the entire tape is blue like every single order. It's actually sticking to certain levels as well. I think the biggest problem with liquidity right now are all these massive block trades that keep coming in. It's similar to a vertical distribution. It'd probably be a vertical distribution on the 5-minute, not so much the 1-minute. You could kind of say it's like a very high volatility version of one on the 1-minute, because it's still doing that same pattern, but like these ranges are just very wide. So it looks more like it on the 5-minute. No, it's not a rollover top because it's just way too wide. A rollover top has to happen back to back to back, like really close together. We'll see if it breaks this prior 30-minute high here, because you're still inside that micro pullback candle. Turning into more of a P-shaped profile. A lot of value on the high here, no upper tail, which typically indicates as long as you fail to rotate downward, you can look for that upper tail extension. You just need to hold above that POC node. The lower tail is very long. It's about 40 points or so. That would be a pretty long extension, which I think lines up pretty much perfectly with this retrace. You'd be retracing Friday, possibly a little bit of Thursday. I don't think we had, oh, we had one left, one single print left around 929. We'll keep an eye on that this week if it does get very bullish. Here comes that high of the range. We'll keep an eye on this 78 level. You stay above that, you're pushing that upper tail. This is also kind of the gap level, so if we can build above this, then it's not just a gap fill, right? Building a node like right on top of this high of day here, not really pushing out of it yet. Yeah, honestly, it's not as bad as you would expect, to be honest. Like, it's not coming out of all the headlines and all the bullshit over the weekend. It's really not that bad. Liquidity's not crazy. It's not super terrible. We're not just like whipping back and forth constantly. It's not like barcoding, you know what I mean? It's actually fairly smooth. It's definitely volatile, but the trend is fairly smooth. Like it's maintaining the same direction. It's not barcoding. A bulldog at 1056. I'm assuming you're meaning like this right here. Even if it has the same pattern, it's not in the type of area that we would look for something like that. You'd be looking for bulldogs like kind of like down here, like after a major impulse. Which you kind of had one, like if you zoom in enough. You had like a low here, popped up, pull back. So like this could have been a bulldog right here. Double bottom, which you can even see as a triple bottom. Triple bottom, pops up, puts in a pullback, and there you go. But during impulses to the upside, you don't really look for stuff like that. It's more of a bottoming pattern. So look at that node. Put in a strong node on that 78 level. But it is not holding it as support. Karini, if you're talking about the scale, it's this little button next to the screenshot button, if that's what you're asking. Oh, you're talking about like the background, like the grid? I think that's in just the regular settings. It should be somewhere in here. Yeah, the grid. I'm guessing it's that. Yeah, it's in a weird spot, this scale button. They should honestly probably not even make that a button. It should just be like on here or something. You know what I mean? It should say like what your scale is. What did I just do? I just clicked out of something. But yeah, I feel like it should just be like visible on the border. And it will tell you your scale and you can mess with it. Kind of like how it says lots right here. It should probably just have like your scale next to it. Yeah, no worries, Tamer. Have a good day, man. We'll see you tomorrow. Definitely a weird trading day coming back after a bunch of weekend news. Keep it on VWAP here. It is still just maintaining that micro pullback. That's why we mark out the high and low of the micro pullback. We see how it responds. Right now, it's just treating it like a rotation. So you rotate it into the value high, possibly back to the value low here. We'll see what it does. Here is VWAP again. Keep an eye on that VWAP, possibly session VWAP if it breaks. Strong sell into VWAP here. Possibly finishing this rotation of this candle back to 43 very quickly. Failed to gain value on that upper tail. No upper tail extension, obviously. This is most likely from these headlines coming out from Iran saying there's a new missile launch happening. Another wave of attacks. They said new missiles are being used this time around. Possibly they're, I forget what they're called, the hyper missiles. Hypersonic or whatever they are. Hey, Ryder, have a good day, man. I'll see you tomorrow. So far, 63% of Iranian attacks have targeted the United Arab Emirates, and the UAE has a 100% interception rate. Selling oil from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve after the attacks on Iran not currently being discussed. Yeah, I didn't see that ordinary. Yeah, Ollie, I checked out that indicator. It's actually not that bad. It's pretty interesting. I don't use it every day or anything, but I pulled it up on stream a couple months ago, I think it was. We were checking it out. It's not too bad. I think that's mostly a level 2 type of thing where if you're using level 2, you could also use that as a little bit of a bonus. Doesn't really fit my style. Still rotating back down to 43. Keep an eye on that. We are coming to the end of the stream here. I did check. The old promo codes should work, so we will do another giveaway here for the Apex accounts. It should work on the new system, which I'll go over again when you guys are choosing your numbers. But give me 1 second. If you guys enjoy the stream, hit that like button. I think we're already close to 100, I believe. Yeah, we're pretty much there. If you guys haven't liked the stream, if you can do so, I appreciate that. Give me 1 second here. All right, guys, same giveaway as always. If you guys would like to win a Apex account, it's going to be a free account for 30 days. Just put in one number between 1 and 50. Don't worry about ties. We'll do a tiebreaker. Just pick one number. If you pick multiple, I will not choose you as a winner, obviously. I'll just go on to the next person if you do win the roll. While you guys are picking your numbers, for you guys that were not in here earlier, I'll go over the updates to Apex one more time. Let me see here. Give me a second. Pull this over here. Pull that over. All right, so I'll do this quickly while you guys are picking your numbers. By the way, for the giveaway, press that live button. Be sure you guys are up to date. Make sure you do not have a delay. Remember, only pick one number. Let me quickly go away or go over these updates here. And then if you guys just have any questions about this, I'll just refer you back to this stream. All right, so the updates to Apex, if you guys are on the old accounts, nothing changes. Basically, everything's the same. Your old accounts are just known as like legacy accounts now. You can still renew them, and you can still reset them. You can still pass them into paid accounts. But with the new accounts, the biggest changes are there's not any payout reviews, payout denials. You'll know before you can put in that payout request whether it's possible or not, whether you broke the rules, whether you broke the consistency, etc. Right? So you're not just going to put in a payout and wait a few days and then see, oh, okay, I can't actually receive that money. Your dashboard will tell you, can you take a payout? So no reviews, no payout denials, no MAE rules. They took away that, which is basically the negative drawdown rule. No 5-to-1 risk rule. Scaling is built into the system. The consistency rule went from 30% to 50%. So if you have one really big trade, it can be up to 50% of what you've made since your last payout request. It used to be 30%, which was a little tight. Now they've nearly doubled it. You used to have to trade for 8 days before you can get a payout. Now it's 5 days, so nearly cut that in half. That's better. You still can't hedge. You still can't manipulate the rules or high-frequency trade, all that weird stuff that you guys are mostly not doing. Just trade normally. You'll be fine. There's no monthly recurring. That's a really big change. No monthly recurring. So when you buy this account, you have 30 days to pass it. If you don't pass it, you just buy another account. which is a good thing because the old accounts, what they would do is when they would renew, it wouldn't go back to your baseline. So if you were negative, it would not raise you back to that baseline. There's no resets on the new accounts. Like I said, you just buy a new one. So you don't have to worry about resets. You don't have to worry about renewing. I don't know if it's available right now. I don't see it immediately on my screen. But they will be putting in bulk buying. So if you want to buy 5 at a time, 10 at a time, you can do that. The biggest change, the number one complaint, the number one feedback that you guys had on my in my chat is from the trailing drawdown. You guys didn't like the trailing drawdown. They now have an end of day drawdown, the same as many other prop firms you guys have used. Now, personally, I don't mind the intraday drawdown. Like I said before, I think it trains you as a trader to do things properly, not allow big winning trades to come back into losers. But I know a lot of you guys really wanted that end of day drawdown, so now they have it. The only main difference is, I believe, the cost. I think everything else is the same. It's just slightly more expensive. Everything else is the same, I believe. The end of day drawdown, the big difference with the end of day drawdown is you have a daily loss limit. So in one day, you can only lose $1,000 if it's a 50K account. Your max drawdown from your highest balance by the end of the day cannot be greater than 2,000. So it's not inside of that individual trade, it's by the end of the day. Okay, so that's one thing that you guys were complaining about with the trailing drawdown, is it's per trade. The end of day is at the close of the account, the close of the day, I mean, sorry. So $1,000 max in one day, or end of day 2,000. And all the accounts, by the way, are 1 day pass. So that used to be like a promotion. Now it's just built in. So now the accounts you can pass in 1 day. Big changes to the paid accounts. 100% payout split. You guys keep all 100%. Minimum 5 trading days instead of 8. They cut that in half. Much better. 50% consistency rule, much better again. It used to be 30%, nearly doubled it. Let me see here. I think that's pretty much it. And then each account can get 6 payouts, I believe. So 6 payouts per paid account until before they move you into like a live account. That could possibly be like an Apex Live or another sim account, basically. And I think that is it. Do you guys have any questions before I pull the giveaway? So long story short, the 3 things that you guys used to give feedback on was you didn't like the intraday trailing, you wanted end of day trailing. They did that. You didn't like the consistency rule being so low. They damn near doubled it. What else did you guys not like? You didn't like the payout denial system. They've completely overhauled it, so you will not run into those problems anymore. So the 3 biggest things you guys used to complain about, they have completely fixed. All for pretty much the same exact price. Which, by the way, it is, I think it's 85% off right now, not 90. But basically the same thing. You can use code BREW if you guys want to support the channel. Yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys think about that, because like I said, pretty much every single thing that you guys did not like, they have fixed. And you would think if they fixed all that, they would jack the prices up, but the prices are pretty much exactly the same. Okay. I'm going to roll the giveaway. Let me know if I roll your number. I will double check that you didn't type a million numbers. And if you won, I'm going to send you a code for a free account. Good luck, everybody. Last number I see is Roger. It is 33. I do see it 33. I see you, eBay. I see Mag, also 33. Let me double check you guys only picked one number. You're good, eBay. Let me double check Mag. And Mag, you are good as well. Do we have any other 33s? I do see another one. Sair, let me see. Did you pick one number? Yeah, you're good. You're consistent too. You pick 33 every time. I like that. So I see you as well. And I think that is it. I think it's you three. By the way, we are breaking out of this micro pullback. Keep an eye on that 78. If we can stay above 78, we're extending that upper tail. Possibly back into yesterday's value high. That goes back to, actually, it's right here. So value high is 86. So now possibly high of day. High of day is 915. So who are we missing? We're missing eBay. Are you still here, eBay? I see the other two. And then we'll do a tiebreaker. While we're waiting, can you guys pick a number between 1 and 10? Also, eBay, pick a number between 1 and 10, and I'll do a tiebreaker. Very strong push off of VWAP here. Bounced off VWAP beautifully. Damn near one time framing on the 1 minute chart, protecting every single 1 minute low. Okay, awesome. You all pick different numbers. So Mag, you have 4, eBay, you have 3, and you have 7. Gotcha. 4 was it. Mag, you are the winner. Congrats. So send me an email. Here is my email for you. Send me an email with your YouTube username, and I'll go ahead and send you a random number. Just type that number in chat, and you are good to go. If you guys are heading out, I appreciate you being here. I will be streaming tomorrow. If you guys are in Discord, I will be streaming for the entire day as well. I know last week I had to take a few days early, but today I will be here the whole day. So if you guys are in Discord, I'll be there until close. If you guys do buy any of the new Apex accounts, don't send them over to me just yet for the March raffle. We will be having that at the end of the month. So hold on to all those receipts if you're using code BREW. Just put them in a folder or something, and then I will get those from you guys on the last week of the month. Speaking of raffle, I did not pull the winners yesterday. You will be seeing that from me today. So you guys will be, if you're a winner, just keep an eye on your email. Let me see if you sent me an email here. I see you. I'm going to send you a random number. Just type that in chat. I can confirm it's you, and then you're good to go. Yeah, in the meantime, guys, with all the Apex changes, if you guys have any questions, just check their website. Like I said, I don't work for Apex. I don't know all the little details. I just try to help you guys as much as I can. So check their forums. They probably have a big update to their forums with all the new stuff. If you can't find your answer there, then feel free to ask me in Discord, ask me in chat. If I don't know the answer, I'll send it over to my contact at Apex. If you're asking about tutoring sessions, I have sessions every week. So it's like, I think right now I need to check my schedule. I think it's Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, I believe it is. And I typically have 2 sessions open for you guys to sign up for after the market closes. And I basically just ask you guys to not sign up for more than 1 a week. So at max, you could do 4 a month, basically. So if you sign up for the quarterly plan, it's 12 sessions if you do literally every single one. And it's no additional fee, it's just included in your Discord. But yeah, I just ask you guys to don't sign up for more than 1 a week, basically. I see you, Mag. So next thing you'll see, Mag, is a promo code. And then just go ahead and sign up for an Apex account like you normally would, and then put that promo code in. It should give it to you for free. But all right, guys, I appreciate being here. Keep an eye on this 78 to 80 level. If it stays above that, you're extending the upper tail possibly by 30 or 40 points. We've already done 20 points. So you might have 10 or 20 points more on this extension. And then you're looking for tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Friday's high of day. If you guys are in Discord, I'll see you guys there. If not, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace, everybody.